No. As soon as I hit record, I can hear myself.
No, but now you're good.
Now, okay, yeah, thank God. Okay.
I mean, you're not good. Hey, adventurers, welcome to Let's Just Go podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kayla, and today we're just doing a quick episode about tips and tricks at Hollywood Studios, which is one of the 4 theme parks at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida.
I love all the parks, but I do love this one mostly because it somewhat stays relevant, where the things sort of
Mm,
change in and out. They have options to change things out, or they throw characters in that are, new character meet and greets and things. So I do like it. Not a huge Star Wars fan, or you're not, right?
no, Brian's
No.
a Star Wars fan, but not
I mean,
me.
I can appreciate it, and I love the newer stuff, like the new
Yeah.
shows and things. But I can appreciate the land there for sure. I just don't know all the storylines, and
I
so
just wish we'd gotten to do the Star Cruiser before it closed.
yeah, it's a sad day. It
Wah,
is sad.
wah, wah. Yeah. I thought you were going to say that you love Hollywood Studios because of how much you love Baseline.
I do love Baseline. Shit, I love it a lot, actually.
Every episode that we've done so far of this has talked about how much you love a good pretzel. So it's only fitting.
Well, and the Baseline pretzels are actually like the Germany pretzels in Epcot. So if you listen to our Epcot, I eat them, but I don't love them. So it's
Yeah.
actually pretty similar. Um, no, so our tips for Hollywood Studios are um, one, you might want to get there early, right? Because you
Yeah.
will see people running towards Rise of the Resistance, that
Yes.
ride, that attraction in particular. But our tip is, especially if you have kids old enough, pay for that on Lightning Lane for
Mm-hmm.
Rise of the Resistance. Use your genie selection to
Mm-hmm.
possibly grab Slinky Dog Dash or Runaway Railway.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you rope drop and get there exactly when the park opens, and your kids are old enough to ride it, or you're going to child swap, you can immediately hit Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster and blow out that whole section of the park and not really need to come back unless you're going to go see the Beauty and the Beast
Beauty and the
show
Beast show.
during the day. But you've done that, so now you can hit 4 rides potentially in the first hour and a half, or at least have 4 attractions on the docket, right? So
And then you've basically got all the rides done at Hollywood
all the big
Studios.
ones are done,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, for sure, there's a few other Toy Story and Star Wars ones,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, and that's another thing. So tip number 2 is don't sleep on the shows,
Yeah.
friends. Don't do it. There's 3 of them there. And that's a perfect, again, segment out your day,
Mm-hmm.
because what people do is they're like, oh, I'm going to hit all the rides. Well, no, if you do 2 attractions and then hit a show and do 2 more attractions and then hit a show. Now
Mm-hmm.
you've broken it up. You're sitting for a little, you're moving, you're sitting, you're moving. It's like a perfect stagger of the day. And so what's your favorite show there? So we have Indiana Jones, we have Beauty and the Beast, not including the nighttime spectacular, which is
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. But then we also have the Frozen sing along. What's your favorite one?
I was gonna say Fantasmic, but then you said not including
Not
Fantasmic. I have not seen the Frozen sing along, so I couldn't tell you that one. Probably Indiana Jones.
It was going to be part of my tip, because I have people who maybe, just not to gender stereotype, but just have boys and like, oh, we're not interested in the Frozen sing along. I'm like,
Yeah,
go to
I've
it.
heard really good things.
Yeah, it's phenomenally funny. They hit some adult jokes that are actually like slightly off color for Disney, but they hit some adult jokes that the kids have no idea what they're saying, and the adults are all laughing. I mean, and so it's definitely worth. Don't sleep on that. I mean, every time I go, I'm laughing, and I think it's a little, for me, it's a little bit more of nostalgia because my girls were like 3 when the movie came out. So
Yeah,
they loved that movie. And so when, they're singing Let It Go and Elsa's on stage, and, you can see all the characters on stage. So if your kids love that or you love that, that's a perfect show to see. But
yeah,
so that's on your list then, Kayla, next
I
time you're there.
know. I'll be there in a couple of months, and not with Brian. Brian doesn't want to see it, which is why I haven't seen it. But I'll be with my mom, and she'll go see it with me.
and you'll be there in the summer, right? So
Mhm.
it's inside and air conditioned. It's actually
Yeah,
their only show that's inside and air conditioned. The
it
other shows
is.
are outside, although they're covered, they're outside. So
Yeah,
that's a perfect, summer activity to do.
mhm. It
What's your
really is.
favorite snack there?
It's so funny because I think that Hollywood Studios has the best food in the 4 parks in terms of, like,
You're
the
insane.
amount of variety. I know. In terms of the amount of, like, variety that you can eat. Like, I love Mama Melrose. I love Hollywood Brown Derby. I love 50s Prime Time. Um, but in terms of a snack, I really don't know that I feel like quick service at Hollywood Studios is really lacking. Um, so I
Mm.
don't know that I
So
have
yeah,
one.
you haven't been there since. Oh no, you were there maybe. What they did really well relatively recently was change the menu at ABC Commissary. And so
Oh,
now they have really good tacos. They have a buffalo chicken grilled cheese. Like they have where
oh.
before it was just like burgers, fries,
Yeah.
garbage. Now they have a much better option. They even have like a fish. I think they have a salmon salad. Like so, they have
Hmm.
options that are much healthier and feel
Yeah.
like not not the buffalo chicken grilled cheese, but it's freaking delicious. So the I agree. I don't really have a snack.
Mhm.
There's some fun snacks. That's not true. The Ronto roaster
I've
in
never had a Ronto wrap.
oh my god,
I
it's
know.
good. It's really good, and the breakfast one in particular is
I've heard that.
amazing. I'll tell you what is shit. Those flavored milks in Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. It's funny
Ooh,
because when I was thinking about a favorite snack, I was thinking my answer was a frozen Coke from in front of Rock and Roller Coaster.
that's a good one.
Yeah, with a shot
Yeah,
of Jack in it.
that's even better.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
the colored milks are not good.
No, the green one in particular is not. I felt like it was disgusting. I can't believe people buy
Mhm.
that.
It tastes like Skittles.
Yeah, it was. I thought it tasted like grass. Tasted like my ass. It was terrible. The one thing I will say, I do love buying an very overpriced Diet Coke in Star Wars because it comes in the fun.
Because you get a whole 8 ounces for, like, $10
Yeah, but it
in a
comes in the fun little
circular.
droid in the droid bottle. Yeah. So that's another tip. So we'll talk. Often people want to try to get into like the droid making or the lightsaber making, which the
Mhm,
lightsaber making is $250. You can if you can't get in there, people don't realize this, but in some of the stores they sell those the exact lightsaber that you make. They sell. It's still $250 and you miss the experience. But if for some reason you can't and you have a kid or you really want that, it's an option to get. So I always,
mhm.
tell people like don't again, obviously you want to try to get the experience where you actually make it, but if you're hell bent on it, you have options.
Something, in line with that, because Brian has actually bought a lightsaber. He hasn't done Savi's, but he's bought a lightsaber, and if you qualify for a discount of some sort, so if that's a Disney Visa discount, an annual pass holder discount, DVC, whatever it may be, you can't get that discount at Savi's because that's an experience that you're paying for. But if you go into the shop and buy that same lightsaber, you get a discount.
Right,
So it
which could
actually ends up saving you money if you qualify for those discounts.
right, which could be 10 to 20% possibly,
It
depending.
was 30 when we had our annual passes on
Because
Bonus.
they were struggling, they
Mhm.
needed
This was years
yeah,
ago.
during COVID or
Yeah.
before.
I
Yeah,
think it was like 2022 that we had our
yeah,
passes. And I was
there was.
like, "Brian, this is your only opportunity. You better fucking get it."
Yep, yep. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, that is a great tip. The other tip is, yep, have go to baseline, find a spot, and watch the world go by with a beer. I get the cider, but get a beer, get whatever,
Yeah. They do
and
have good options there.
they do, they
Yeah.
do. Um, and when all else fails, I do. I'm sorry, but I just want to be a bartender at Baseline because I know they make a shit ton of money. They're just pouring. 9 out of 10 people are ordering a beer, and
Mhm.
they're like, boom, 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 tip, 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 tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just the tip is get a job done. The other thing, the last tip that we'll go over is that you mentioned earlier. We mentioned Phantasmic.
Mm-hmm.
So Phantasmic was one of the last nighttime spectaculars to come back post COVID. And so in the very beginning, it was very popular. It's still popular, and you should get
Yeah.
there pretty early. But there are options. So again, if you're nervous like me, like you might want to do a dinner package or a lunch package that
Mhm.
includes priority seating there, so you don't have to get there so super early. The thing is though, I think the stadium holds like 10,000 people. It's a lot of
Yeah,
people
it's a
that it
lot.
holds, and um, but go and see it because it's absolutely worth it. And get there maybe 30 minutes before.
Yeah. And keep in mind the walk to get to the amphitheater that Phantasmic is in is long. It's not like it's not like other shows where you're coming through the queue and you're right at the top of the landing and you just need to go find a place to sit. You are walking probably a quarter mile to get from like where you're entering the Phantasmic
Right.
space to like where you're actually sitting. There's bathrooms along the way. There are stands to get food and drinks. So like just know that you don't need to get your popcorn outside. You can get into the Phantasmic area, go find a place to sit, and then send somebody the halfway
Snacks.
back to get something to drink and something to eat. And if you listen to the Magic Kingdom episode, I am team get out as fast as you possibly can. So I personally sit towards the back because,
Mm.
again, like you said, it holds a lot of people and you're going to just be sitting there forever waiting for people to clear out if you don't sit towards the back.
And it's interesting because like you said, it's you walk a fair amount because you don't see a single ounce of that theater when you're in the regular park on any of the
Yeah.
main regular areas. You have no idea that this huge amphitheater even exists.
Mhm.
But it does. So I would agree. And sometimes if it's really busy, there are two shows. So our tip there would
Mhm.
obviously be go to the second show. I don't think we're in the last few months there's been that, but
Yeah.
just know that that would be, an option too. And it's a perfect way to, again, to see all the characters because all
Yeah.
of the quintessential I mean, beyond that, right? Like Ariel, all
Mhm.
of them are in the show at some point, if not
Mhm.
in part of the actual storyline. They're at the end,
Yeah.
so your kids or you will get to see everybody that you've
Yeah.
ever wanted to see. So,
And you may not exit the same way that you enter. So don't think that just because you came in by Beauty and the Beast, you're going to leave by Beauty and the Beast because a lot of times in the same way that we talked about how Epcot fireworks are usually at park closing, if there's only one Phantasmic show, it's usually at the end of the night. And by the time the show is over, the park is closed and they actually have an alternate exit that dumps you out right by the main entrance.
mhm.
So just know that if you were like hoping to circle back and go into that shop on your way out, it might be closed. You're not going out that way. So just keep in mind that if you're someone who's concerned about getting in and out of a place and like what your escape route looks like or anything like that, like you may not be leaving the same way you came in.
And that's actually a great point. There are times recently that I've seen that show actually starts after. Like the park might close
Mhm.
at 9 and Phantasmic starts at 9:30. So
Yeah.
my guess is that's just a awesome way to do crowd control, right?
Mhm.
But also a nice way for the guests to extend their time in the park. You can go to the show, right? But that way all the people who don't care about the show are leaving and are pretty much gone by the time those 10,000 people exit the show. So
Yep.
um, yeah, no, that's a great point because it does. And you're like, where the hell am I going? And then all of a sudden you're
Yes.
actually at the main entrance and you're like, oh, well, I
It's
guess that's,
very confusing.
yeah, yeah. So, all right. They are our quick tips for Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Take us home.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening and subscribing and downloading and just engaging with us. We really appreciate it. And until next time, let's just go.